All right, excellent, guys. So first of all, welcome to Fitbanker's pre-challenge info session. So this is being recorded, and it's being recorded for people that wanted to join the session but could not make the time. And there will be those that may want to watch this at a future date to find out what the challenge is about. What we'll cover on today's webinar is a bit about us, our background, why we exist, how Fitbanker came about, what our real motive is, because you've all seen us or come across us through either meeting somebody on the team, knowing somebody who's done a challenge, meeting us at an event, or seeing on social media where we exist predominantly a host of results. But it really does help if you get wholly connected and aligned with our mission and with our vision about what we're doing, what we're trying to create in terms of health leaders out there, and have you enrolled into that vision so that every step of the way for the rest of your 90 days and beyond, right? The 90 days is just the beginning of your transformation. And at the end of it, you continue to stay within this community, and you're a Fitbanker, and you are continually a leader out there committed to transforming and inspiring lives. But we'll share a bit of our background, how we came about, and why why we exist. And then those of you that have already signed up to this challenge, some of you are listening in because you were interested to find out what this is about. So we're going to explain a bit about what this is about. Many people don't have that very clear. And as well, to address that, there's a number of videos and more content going up daily on our Facebook page and on our website just to address that, so that the answers are readily available for people. So why don't we get started? So currently with us, dialed in on the call, we have Mark Nicholson, who's from Stratford. We have Janine over here, who's in person while we're screening this, and we are expecting a few more people to be dialing in who said that they will be in. As we do in most of our webinars throughout the program, we love to kick off and set context with a quote. And today we picked a quote from Bill Gates, which is, "As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others." Beautiful quote by Bill Gates. I think about Bill Gates as a 19, 20-year-old. He's a guy that when he started Microsoft was flying around the world trying to enroll people into this vision that it doesn't matter what that box is that you have. What's going to run it is that internal thing called software. And that's what we're selling. That's the code we've created, and that's what we want every computer to have. And he had that vision. But beyond that vision, he wanted to do some more things on a big, more humanitarian scale, which was one of the things is like eliminating polio, possibly eliminating malaria, right? Those are things that he's really focused on now, things that really matter. And that was Bill's vision in his time. Why we exist is, imagine if we can create a game whereby we eliminate lifestyle diseases. And it's pretty simple in our view, because the answer is in the name, lifestyle diseases. If we shift the lifestyle, we shift what is the lifestyle we're living that's causing these diseases. For the first time in history, from 2012 to now, more people have died out of obesity and lifestyle-related diseases such as type 2 diabetes, ischemic heart disease, and all obesity-related than have people died from poverty and hunger, right? In the 80s and 90s, that was one of the biggest causes of death, hunger, and for the first time, it's now obesity has overtaken that. So more people die as a result of this. The top 7 out of 10 causes of death are lifestyle related, which means they're caused by simple choices people are making around the foods they consume, the drinks they drink, and the level of activity that they have in their day, as well as the amount of sleep they get. There are 4 pillars to a healthy lifestyle, and that's what we work on over the 90 days of this program. So we're really looking for people that are going to be leaders in this course. And why do we say leaders? Is because we really exist. We came about on social media, and we are also looking for people to start changing the use and the face of social media. Social media is a place where there can be a lot of banter, a lot of moaning, a lot of negative news. And we want to really fill social media with positivity, with people sharing that they're up to something great, because each of us is actually a leader. When you post your before photo, you will see how you move and inspire somebody to go and like that photo, to comment below, to say well done. That's already a demonstration of your leadership. Now imagine leveraging your leadership for positivity and being a contribution to health and lifestyle. So for 90 days, we're really looking for a lot of social media fun and sharing, and we'll talk a bit about that in terms of our design. Let me kick off first by sharing what we are and what we are not. So what we are very clearly is we're an education system, and we're an online education movement, and predominantly existing on social media. We deliver content obviously over these webinars and some through email, but predominantly it's through Facebook, where through our page, which is publicly available, and then there's a closed group for participants where people on our program get added to. On that closed group, we get to share certain exclusive videos. I do some exclusive live videos. It's a platform, an arena where you can ask questions, and there are a host of prior participants there who love their transformation, love their journey, and they really are a commitment to contributing to you. So if you ask a question, you'll have a flurry of people rush to it, especially when you're new, to want to answer that question or tell you what you can eat or not eat. So we're really looking to develop leaders over this period, and that you learn the system as it's designed for the 90 days, and you've seen already the host of results. And I'm going to be very straight to people listening in on recording, those of you that are on live. Your results are going to be a correlation of your participation. It will have nothing to do with what we say. It will have nothing to do with how other participants perform or behave. And it will have nothing to do with how you think of this, however you related to education previously, or to the word assignment, or to the word challenge. This is not a race. If you're going to come here the same way you participated elsewhere in life, and if you're by default somebody that becomes lethargic or loses morale or can't do it on your own, that may show up here if you bring the same expectation of this. Consider this is something very new. It's more like a pledge. It's why we call it a challenge rather than a race or competition. That's why there's no prize. The prize is you getting to be alive for longer and healthier after this program. What we're not a gym. We're not offering personal training. We're not offering nutritional advice. We are really offering the education and the science behind understanding things like your body type, understanding metabolism, understanding nutrition. We give you the tools as well for it. So we have certain technology and apps that you're going to use. Those will be used to record and track what you do. And they're going to have to be changes in how you utilize your 24 hours in a day. We all have the same 24 hours, but how you invest your 24 hours, if there isn't going to be a change in those 24 hours, then nothing changes. We cannot expect to be doing the same thing in 24 hours that we've previously done and then expect some different kind of results, because there's no magic pill that we're selling. And the magic pill is 90 days of performance. That's what the magic pill is. Of course, you put your safety first. If you're not familiar with certain exercises, if you're allergic to certain food types, you don't consume them. If you're not familiar with exercise, you ask. You join a gym. In a gym, they have their own health and safety checks, and they would have a fitness instructor that might do an induction on how to use equipment and machinery. And we also recommend that if you have a personal trainer, continue to work with them. You can hire a personal trainer, go with an experienced gym buddy if you're really new to fitness. We also say for growth, it really matters when you have somebody greater than you and somebody there to push you along the way. So I'm going to kick off, first of all, with a little story about my journey from Fatbanker to Fitbanker, and how I really decided to use a pain moment, a very low point in our lives, to turn my pain into power and make this as a contribution to other people. So a bit about my life before. So I used to work in finance and banking for 12 years. I worked in the City of London. I worked for one of the leading investment banks for the last 6 years of that period, so half my finance career there. I really lived a great and successful career. I used to get promoted. I used to travel a lot. And I lived what I thought was a very fun, energetic, and active lifestyle. There was a lot of party involved, a lot of fun. This is a little picture from, what's that movie? Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street. We didn't actually do that. We didn't have any dwarfs to chuck around in the office. But it was really a lifestyle where we thought, wow, this is success. This is beautiful. This is brilliant. And I really got that a lot of my feeling confident was the backing of the brand of the organization I worked for and the bank balance. But what had happened over this period of thinking I was living the life was I turned into this. I turned into somebody that was really overweight, that was unhealthy. My self-confidence was really dependent on my bank balance and things like my title and the company that I worked for. But my health was totally neglected. I joke about this. I tell people that I used to buy suits where I would always have to buy 2 pairs of pants because my thighs would always rub off the middle of my pants. So I always had to buy 2 pairs of pants. When I walk into TM Lewin, the guy there, his name was Roger, he would know. He says, "Oh, Mr. Sampat, I got your 2 pants." And he would also put a nice silk saddle on the inside so it would increase the length of time that lasted without wearing it out. So, that's the level of impact that I was tolerating, and I thought this is normal, and I thought this is just me, like this happens to certain people. But then eventually we had a good wake-up moment. So this was exactly this week. It's quite coincidental. Today's August 11th, but I think next week, 3 years ago, so around about August the 18th, 19th, we had gone to Edinburgh Fringe Festival. So this is a picture from Edinburgh Fringe Festival. And I was there with my wife, and we were just 9 months married, and I was, vice president of JP Morgan. Life was so beautiful. Had a lovely wife, and we went there where it's a place of joy and happiness and celebration. And on top of that, in addition to celebrating my wife's birthday, which was on 22nd August, we were also celebrating the arrival of a baby. We were 3 months pregnant. And so really exciting time to have been out there. But that moment of celebration, joy, and happiness quickly turned around 180 degrees as we began the onset of a miscarriage. And that was like a real piercing pain in both of our hearts. It was everything that we've kind of created and what we perceived was successful suddenly was meaningless. It meant nothing because we felt helpless in that moment. And I immediately went into questioning, what's wrong? Is it us? Why us? To add salt to injury, the next day I had these random heart palpitations on our way back from Edinburgh. And we accepted the miscarriage as this is sometimes what happens. 1 in 4 pregnancies actually end up in a miscarriage. So we tried not to blame ourselves for it. But then what happened is I had these heart palpitations. When I came back home that evening, I told my wife, I said, you know what, I'm just going to drink some water, do some deep breathing, and I'll sleep it off. I'll be perfect. And she immediately screamed at me. She said, no way, there's no way I'm waking up tomorrow having woken up losing another one, having lost another one. That evening I spent in A&E. I was in hospital and a whole host of tests were done. I had ECG tests done on me. I had a whole host of blood samples taken, and Ambika slept on the side next to me on a chair, and the whole night passed, and I just really was getting frustrated through that whole night and evening and how it passed. And I realized in that moment, looking at Ambika sleeping by my side, that others really bank on my fitness, that my fitness hasn't got only to do with me, but it's that others bank on me being fit, and hence the name Fitbanker, hence why we've come into existence. I then got very clear for myself that I didn't want to be living in that vehicle that was cumbersome to carry. I didn't want to be living with those low levels of energy. I didn't want my body to be at the effect of the lifestyle that I lived, and I didn't want my body to say what I could or could not do. So I said, I'm going to go out there and do what I want to do in this life, and my body has to be at its optimal level to allow me to do that. I also got clear that when we lost a baby, by the time we have a baby again, I'll be in my late 40s or 50s before I could go running around with these guys, playing football with them, climbing mountains. And I want to be really fit for that. So I had to look 15 years ahead and start my game of being healthy in the now. And so I did a host of research. We looked at I looked at various training programs. I looked at various diet plans. I went through a lot of research, and a lot of them were very short-lived. A lot of them were fads. A lot of them didn't work, and they were just suppression. And then within a short period of time, I'm back on bad habits. And also, the big painful thing was many of them didn't work, so we don't see results. And when we don't see results, we become really resigned and cynical. So it took me a whole year to lose about 8 kilos trying different things. But in the last 2 months of that year, I started, after a year of trying this, I started to lose 5.5 kilos a month. I thought, wow, I think I've got it. And just as I've kind of coined the right balance of what we need to eat or not eat, I saw on Facebook, it was beginning of last year, some friends of mine had started this health transformation challenge on Facebook, and they said, in 90 days, hold us accountable, we're going to transform ourselves. So I said, hey, can I join this? They said, sure, post your photo. So by this time, I've already lost 5.5. I was losing a month in the past 3 months before that, and I had lost 16 kilos. I was now overall about 22 kilos lighter than my heaviest, and I still joined at that weight of 87 kilos. In 90 days time, those guys paid 10,000 pounds amongst the three of them to the top of the game personal trainers. I paid 25 pounds a month for my gym, and I followed my system to the T. And what turned out was this guy by April. So in 90 days, I went from that to that. My strength went through the roof, my speed of running, my stamina, everything. And I really, really loved where I was. My fat percentage was impressive. I moved from a 20-something or 30% fat percentage down to 11.3%. It's one of the things we focus on in our program. It's why we invite people when they start to check their fat percentage, and when you signed up, you got an email saying what next, and in there was a recommended fat percentage scale that we say you should buy. So we highly recommend that you do that. Know where you're starting, and each week, once a week, you can check your progress, and when you join, you will also get some charts you can stick up as progress trackers and goal trackers. I also said, look, after this challenge, I was in the midst of looking at what to do as a business, and I was looking at various things from a restaurant to something in finance and so on. But I thought, I've always been told this, look at, when you want to find out what you're passionate about, look at what you're doing when you're procrastinating. And I was in the gym, I was eating healthy, and I was on social media. So I thought, okay, I could do something there. But then also, what problem am I solving? So I said, where's the world headed? I said, globally, we are having a diabetes and obesity epidemic. Like the NHS UK is under threat by 2030 because of the obesity and diabetes epidemic. And I looked specifically at me and where I was, and I thought, look, I'm really passionate about this stuff. I'm unwilling to have this impact my life, my family, and I'm committed to transforming their lives. So I'm going to really take this on. I looked at my town, I looked at the resignation in my community, about them thinking, oh, they're just these health freaks, and then they are okay when people in our community pass away, and they carry on living the same lifestyle they did. I mean, I never knew my granddad. There's another video, a longer video on YouTube, about 10, 11 minutes. If you don't fall asleep watching it, there's me talking about 3 people that died and nobody did a thing. One is my grandfather, who passed away when my old man was in his like 22. My best friend's dad, who went from a national cricket player to dying away at the age of 49, because in the last 20 years of his life, he just went into loads of alcohol and very unhealthy foods, and his old body packed up in under half a century. And then there was actually a 26-year-old, my roommate in college, and he died of a heart failure at the age of 26. And I thought, all of us mourn for about 5, 10 days, 20 days, and then we go back doing exactly what these guys did that caused their life terminating. What if we could shift our lifestyle and inspire others to do the same? So that's how we came about. Before we go on, I'd love to hear from a couple of you. So let's look at your life, and I want you to really, really look at and be straight with yourself here. What do you see is possible for you if you did discover optimal health? Like if you were at your peak, what would show up for you? Marco, Janine?
All right.
Yeah, Marco.
First of all, I'd just like to say I really relate to, obviously I know you, I remember the miscarriage. I really relate to that story. I'm in property investment, and when I got successful, in inverted commas, I could go out and I could drink champagne and I could eat steak every night of the week, and it really comes at a cost. And you get to a point you decide, actually, that's not a life I want. You know, it sounds glamorous, but actually, yeah, it's a trap, as same as a poverty trap. You know.
Yeah.
So anyway, on answering your question, what's possible for me is having self-confidence, knowing I'm taking care of myself, knowing I'm doing everything I can to look at my best.
Yeah.
Not that I'm particularly vain, but also the biggest breakthrough for me would be to go to a social function and to not feel like, you know, I have to have a beer in order to network, or I have to, you know, do whatever when I'm out partying. You know, just to be able to enjoy being out, and not need those vices. You know.
Yeah, yeah, got it. I get, you know, the confidence, the just being able to be your best self and not having to really conform with the societal needs of being in that, like a poverty trap. That's effectively a health trap or a lifestyle trap, and we're definitely caught in that lifestyle trap. And I used to always say that you've got to have that amount, and I'm not like totally teetotal. I still will have the occasional sip, and I make it occasional. But we just make our life become so full of occasion that we've lost the novelty of it. And I always remember when I think that in business you have to have these socials, you have to have alcohol to be able to network and correlate with people. And then I think about the in India or globally, there are these two successful billionaires called the Ambani brothers. They own the Reliance Ambani group, and they started it with their father. And these guys own one of the largest properties in Mumbai, and they're often known to be holding big functions there, weddings there, and a lot of social events. And they invite everyone from politicians to top businessmen to celebrities. And these parties are always non-alcoholic and vegetarian. It's just an impressive thing. And I always used to joke. I said, it must be all the guests that come there must really moan about these guys being so strict around their values and principles. But you know, it's a demonstration of how they separate themselves from the crowd, and hence they're actually the two richest men in India, and probably third or fourth globally. Janine, would you like to?
I think for me it's just having more energy and the confidence, and I know this isn't my skin, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
Going back to what I know is my comfortable skin.
Awesome. Awesome. We've just had somebody else join. So Payal, welcome to the webinar. We are midway through the webinar. What we've just covered is we've covered a bit of background about you know, how we came into existence. We have a couple other participants here. One person is here in person, and somebody else is also dialed in on webinar, and there might be others dialing in too. So welcome. If you'd like to speak or share anything, you can unmute yourself at your end, and feel free to ask any questions as we go through. So I just went through a bit of why we exist, and I shared a story about when my wife and I had a miscarriage, and then as a result of stress, I ended up in hospital, and that was like a turning point for me when I said I didn't want to carry on that lifestyle, and we created Fitbanker. I'm going to crack on with where we are, but if you I'll be asking some questions, and I'm just here where I'm asking the people online on the call, you know, what do we see is possible for you if you had optimal health? Payal, would you like to share what you see is possible for you? Okay, I'm not sure. You may need to unmute yourself, but if you can't, just carry on, stay on. And you can also type a comment in the chat box where it says questions, and I will get it up at this end. I'm just going to quickly move on. Then I want to say is look at and be really straight with yourselves, guys, and I'd love one of you to share what do you see the impact with the lack of optimal health. Like, get really straight with yourself. Like, what really do you see this would have the impact for you if you were had very deteriorating health?
Hi, Veronica, I'll share if you like.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So okay. So last year, sorry, that's my phone. I'll mute it. Right. So last year, I ran a 10K.
Yeah.
And I did that in 47 minutes, which was a pretty good time. That was when I was probably at my pretty much my fittest. And I wanted to get, sorry, no, not 47, it was 57. I do apologise.
Yeah.
Then things started to slip already, and I did one later on in the year, and I got cramp, and I did not finish. And it's because I'd gone out the night before and I've been drinking, you know, and then I expected to do a 10K run the next day for charity, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that bothered me. You know, why couldn't I sustain that? The other thing is, it's a lot of it is down to self-confidence, really. You know, when you know, like I said before. Like at the moment, I'm aware that I had my suit. I had to have the trousers on my suit taken out, very similar to yourself, what you're talking about. You know, and I just don't feel attractive at the moment, if I'm really honest.
Yeah.
And you know, that doesn't matter because you know I've got a good personality and blah blah blah. But actually, you know, how bad do I need that cheese sandwich? You know?
Yeah. That's awesome. That was exactly me. I was hiding my confidence by things that I had, like money, title, leveraging my personality and sense of humor. But inside, I was filthy. I was feeling quite filthy about the way I was, and also feeling helpless, like I couldn't do anything about it. And so, having devised how simple this is, when you guys start and see how simple this is and begin to see results, you will begin to be like, what, is that it? Is that how easy it is? And the next thing you just need to bring is moderation and consistency, which means moderate level of intensity in your exercise and consistency. So not going overboard, not causing yourself a burnout, but if it's like 4 days a week of committing to something or 5 days of committing to going to the gym, then really just being consistent, because that's what really will cause the results. What I invite people to do is consider that everything that we know to date, there's everything that we know about what's possible on our bodies. There's everything that we know about what's possible with health. There's everything that we know about food, that, you know, this is how diets are. You have to eat less or you know, burn more. That's what we think. If you already know what there is to do, consider this, that you wouldn't be even looking at Fitbanker, you wouldn't have joined this challenge, you wouldn't be considering joining this challenge. So my invite is, if you're going to come on to this challenge knowing it all, you would already have the solution that works and that empowers you to keep it being implemented. So just take for 1 second that you actually don't know nothing. And I'm going to also invite you to detach from your body. So I invite people to kind of have an outer body experience of your own body. So firstly, consider, most of us think our body is us, and this is going to get a bit philosophical, this statement, but consider that your body is not you. Consider also that your mind is not you, but your mind is a muscle. We're going to explain the purpose of this mind as we go through the webinars, and not on this one, but through those on the challenge. But consider that it's just a muscle and your body itself is a vehicle. So let's relate to it as a vehicle. Now, if you have a big enough game in this world, so Mark, like you said, you're in property and you go out there and you're socializing and you have to do drinks and you have to have this big steak, because that's what 95% of the world do. That's what majority do. That's the difference between those guys that have a bigger game in life, right, and those people that are just fitting in or going with the herd mentality. Now, if you really have a bigger game about why you exist, whether you're going to be this phenomenal fashion designer that's going to inspire clothing, that's going to empower, I don't know, the women that make the designs behind it, or that's going to empower people that make the clothing or the material behind it, or whether you are, you know, a property investor who also has, like in Bill Gates' case from software, he also has this humanitarian purpose of what is going to be etched on his tombstone, which is eliminated polio, eliminated malaria, whatever it is, right? get connected to that big purpose of why you're on this earth, and that the vehicle that's going to deliver that purpose is your body. So remember that your body is not you, number one. So now we're going to say, how can we take care of this vehicle like you would take care of a car? You would regularly service it, you would clean it, you would not put the wrong stuff in the petrol tank. You wouldn't put diesel in a petrol car or vice versa. So you wouldn't put water there. So just remember, start relating to yourself that way. So over the program, we're going to really shift your relationship to your body. We're going to shift your relationship to food, your relationship to exercise. And what's possible outside of that? This on the left here is my old man. He's lost about 15, 16 kilos. He's 70 years old. So when people tell me I think I'm too old or I think I can't, I show them Dad's picture. On the right is Rebecca. She's now lost actually 17 kilos. And she did this she did 2 challenges, but in about a challenge and a half, she had lost 15 kilos. And when she signed up, she was really confronted by signing up, because for her to even post on social media that she's doing such a thing, to post a photo of her, really, really confronted her. But there was something I heard in when she told me she wanted to do it. And at that time, we were very strict about people signing up. They've got to be interested. Like, I wasn't going to waste time on the phone with people, because we really wanted people that were very clear why they're doing this. And I invited her over for a workout session. We spoke, and she called me on the phone when she was about to post this. She was breaking down emotionally. And just through coaching her and standing for her, she was just phenomenal. She broke record in her challenge. She then went on to invite 5 people in her life to join the next challenge, her sister, her friends. They've all got to transform their health and really implement healthy lifestyle. And as a circle of friends, now they're just loving themselves the way they are. They're loving the energy. They're loving their health. And they're staying on that online community, so they get to continually interact and engage in a whole bunch of healthy activities, recipes, smoothies, and so on. This is a guy that signed up called Vinesh. When he posted his before photo on the left, I thought, he looks pretty fit already. I can kind of see a six-pack. I'm like, I don't know what we can do for this guy. But he just took on our program as designed, and he got a six-pack proper chiseled out in 90 days. So by 10th September. So from the guy on the left, right, in 90 days. This is Nick, who many of you know. He, in 60 days, he got himself so chiseled, and he said, all right, Ronnie, I'm packing up as a photographer. I want to join your team. Nick went on to join our team, and we would love to have had him longer term. And by 90 days, that was him. Very inspiring guy, invites a lot of people. Of recent, he's chosen to leave us, and he's also doing something in the health space. But it's a demonstration of how inspired somebody was to pack up what they were doing and join us. But now he's going on to do what he wants to do. And this is a doctor. When this guy signed up, I said, oh my God, we're going to be busted, because if this doctor signing up to a challenge, he knows everything. What if I say something that is not scientifically correct? What if I'm advising something that is risky? But it wasn't on him. About four or five doctors signed up at the time, or 3 or 4. And to date, we've had about 7 or 8 medical doctors do our program, and all of them have caused such phenomenal results. If you look at our Facebook page today, in the morning, we posted about this doctor who's lost 53 pounds. At the time, this guy here was a record holder. He lost 16.5 kilos, 35 pounds in 90 days. He is actually a gastroenterologist in Dallas, Texas. He's top of his game, he's a specialist. So he tells people what to eat or not eat when their gut is wrong, but he would come to us to ask us what to eat for him to lose weight, which is really very humbling. And that 7 doctors have trusted us, like, despite them being in that profession, there's a risk that will we be questioned about who we are in our profession. But their profession made them live a certain lifestyle that made them neglect their bodies, and they got to transform that. This is Reshma, who is actually Payal's cousin. Payal was dialed in from Zambia. Reshma was really inspiring. She went on to transform herself. In 60 days, she got smashing results. She had done a number of other programs before, but she hit a plateau where she couldn't get any lower. And then she approached me, and in one challenge, she caused this. In a second challenge, she's lost even more. Not only that, but the second time she did a challenge, she inspired a cousin of hers, about 3 or 4 people around her. And one of them has just posted his photo yesterday. This guy had high creatinine levels, he had high BP, he had high cholesterol, and he was a young dad, 32 years old, and he tells me, he says, Ronnie, please help me. I was out in Zambia on holiday, and he's not that great with technology, not that great with English, and I went and set up the apps on his phone when I went on holiday, coached him, and he today is just amazing. So if you actually go and see the post on our page, you have to click where it says visitor posts today. You'll see he's got about 130, 140 likes already. People are gobsmacked by his results that he just posted yesterday. A guy called Chintan Vaidya. So if you look at that, you'll see it. So how does it work? How do we get these kind of results? In our program, first of all of you are unique. So, you know, it's not one blanket approach. Sometimes that's the risk when people go into the gym. They go into the gym and they just get trained and told the same stuff that the person before you was told. But firstly, we're all different and we have a unique body type. So you have a body type, and this science of body types has been around for, according to Ayurveda, which is a 5,000-year-old science from Vedic scriptures. There are 3 body types. And bodybuilding, which is about a 70-year-old science, started in the 50s, 60s, it also has these body types. And when you understand these body types, there are certain exercises that work for you, work against you, and there are certain foods that work for you and work against you. Many of us think we go to the restaurant and we can eat what our mates are eating, but if we have a different body type, it might fuel them, but it might mess you over. So me and my wife are different body types. I'm like the guy on the right, and she's like the person somewhere between the skinny person and the person in the middle. She's got what's called an ectomorph or ectomeso body type, or in Ayurveda, a Vata Pitta body type. So we use elements of both these sciences, and based on that we devise training programs that work for you, and we call them meal plan ideas. We don't really say meal plans because they are they're not prescriptive. So we want you to use them as an example, but then you kind of create your own that works for you. What else is there? They're goal specific, so you might be somebody that comes on that wants to lose weight, or somebody that wants to increase strength and definition, like in Nick's case. And again, when you signed up, you'd have received an email with a questionnaire. You need to complete that and just give us these answers, and then we will share with you the relevant meal plan or training program that is appropriate for you, your body type, your goals, your gender, your age. And the third thing is the psychology of a challenge. If you knew that you had to make a lifestyle change, because of the word lifestyle, we think, oh, this is for life. Like, oh my God, I'm not yet ready to commit to something for life. Most of us have issues with committing to something. So we are actually, and this is most human minds, we are by default procrastinators. Now, when you know it's a challenge, there's a set start date, there's an end date. So that end date in mind, and this is only 90 days, right? So most of us go into a restaurant and we see this cupcake or we see this sugary drink and we think, you know what, I'll have it just this once, just this once. What we're inviting people to do is, for this 90 days of your life, just this once, own what you put into your body. The second thing is, there's a community. So you're part of a team and a whole group of people that are doing it. I'll be honest with you guys. Somehow it might have to do with the summer holidays or people being away and the timing of this challenge. Not that many people have signed up, but that doesn't really impact your performance. It just means you possibly get, you will get a lot more attention from me anyway. But the more people you are, the more you get to be in like teams, and you get to have a lot of fun and banter. But you already join an existing community of 150, 60 people. So that community is already there. But if you have people you want to invite, there's an opportunity to still invite people. We've got about a dozen people that are like on the edge asking, I want to join, and they've been asking us for 1, 2, 3 challenges at a go. And sometimes it means, them just having a conversation with us to really get our trust and see some of the results and the people that we've transformed, and then they leap. But, we're available for that. Third thing is accountability. When we talk of accountability, we don't mean you're accountable like you're responsible or you're to blame, but we mean accountability like, as a banker, the terminologies that I'll bring here that come from my finance world, which is, I always wondered, why do we always know or file our records for the tax man every year without fail? We know how much to submit for our VAT. We know how to record our income and expenses, but we don't do that for our body. We have no idea what amount of calories we put in. We have no idea what amount of calories we spend. And then further within those calories, we talk more what's called macros, and there are other subcategories that we really need to be accountable for. So that's the level of accountability. Then there is weekly webinars. I'm going to talk on a later slide how to get the most of these weekly webinars, but really your participation, your getting your time with me, asking any questions should be chatting in the community, in the closed group, or on the weekly webinars. On the weekly webinars, we will give away gold as much as we can, and whatever you can want to ask us, bring it, come and ask us on those webinars, and we will give you the answer. So webinars for this challenge are going to be on Wednesdays. On Sunday morning, you will get an email with all the dates of the webinars. There are 10 webinars. So it's going to be the first 3 Wednesdays, a break, the next 3 Wednesdays, a break, then the next 2 Wednesdays, a break, and then the last 2 Wednesdays of your 90 days. You only have 90 days, so don't like rush and pop at the start of the challenge. Remember, moderation and consistency. Social media fun. You know, we want to change the face of social media. Few people, today somebody actually posted on our page to say why are you always posting on social media or questioning that? And we keep showing the number of lives we've transformed, and people like all of you have seen what's possible because you've seen on what's there on social media. You've seen those people whose photos we've shared. You've seen them share their photos and their testimonials. Social media is just another hangout place. We don't get to meet enough face-to-face, and if you met people face-to-face every day, they will see you changing, they will hear that you're going to the gym, they will see you not having a drink. But if you want to be a leader to inspire people, leverage social media positively. Use it not to show off, but use it so that the person that's thinking, I wonder if I can, gets to see that they can because you can, because you say they can, and because you are doing it. So we're really big on that. We're really big on sharing. So share with people in your world what you're up to. You will learn a lot of stuff from here. We say listen like you want to go and teach it to somebody, right? The content that we share is proprietary. We invite people not to take any content that was specific to you and give our content that's labeled with our name and branding away to people. But you can sometimes take a screenshot of a webinar or a quote that you like. You can repost it to your page, or something that you just learned this week, which you thought, I thought I knew all that about organic food, or I thought I knew all that about sugar. And you just realize that, oh, actually organic food doesn't mean anything about health. It's just got to do with the way of production. And you get to really share stuff that you learn, those wow moments. So we invite you to share those with people and be a contribution to people. Good. So this is what we're talking about, the webinars, for them to work, for you to really get the most out of it. There are 10 webinars. We highly recommend you attend all 10. We endeavor to record all of them, but we often have some technical glitches and sometimes some human error. And the human error is sometimes I forget to record, or we've had instances that each of these recordings are a bit large and then I'm using a laptop which doesn't have storage and it crashes. Dial in 5 minutes before. You can share your challenge out there and ask questions on the webinars. You can type in the chat box there. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. And really taking on the assignments, right? And these assignments, don't relate to them as homework. They're always going to be fun and stuff that's going to get you outside your comfort zone. If it's going to be in your comfort zone, it's not going to shift you. I shared earlier what causes the phenomenal results, but really it's the moderation and consistency. We talk about the science. We'll talk about that more in webinar 1, which is next week, Wednesday, for you guys. So please put that in your diary, 7:30 p.m. every Wednesday. And the psychology of how it works, the psychology of a challenge is what I covered. Now here's some admin stuff that you need to do. So if you can write this down, or if you can take a screenshot, these are 4 apps that you need to download. And when you download them, if you can go on the first 2 apps, Runkeeper and MyFitnessPal, and under Friends, search for Fitbanker and add us. Send us a friend request on these 2 apps, so Runkeeper and MyFitnessPal. Under MyFitnessPal, we will talk about this again in webinar 1, but if you want to start now, you can. MyFitnessPal, you set things like your weight, your target weight, and then we will talk a bit about these macro goals in webinar 1. And you also want to put your diary sharing to public. You can already start to play with these apps, see what they do, see what they're for, start recording what you eat in the second one, MyFitnessPal. The third one, calorie, carb, and fat counter, is very similar to MyFitnessPal, more or less the same, but it is it's linked with our Fitbanker app, and so Fitbanker app right now doesn't link with MyFitnessPal. And the calorie, carb, and fat counter also has a daily nutrition tip, which I'd recommend. If you're on it, you get to see it, but you don't have to duplicate what you're doing under app number 2 with app number 3. So you can have both, or you can just use MyFitnessPal. And then the fourth one is Fitbanker. On that app, once you're set up, right now you won't see it, but there are demo videos there which show you how to do any and every exercise. So every exercise has a 3D version of an image there that's showing you how to perform as a video each exercise. We also invite participants in your questionnaire to say, when you're signing up, what is your greater why? Why are you doing this? And as I shared, my greater why was about those 3 people that died. Grandfather, my best friend's dad, and one of my best friends who passed away at the age of 26. And our community in Kitwe, Zambia, where I come from, has continued to live an unhealthy lifestyle. And many people live a culture of they're at their business from 9 to 5 or 6 p.m. and then they drive to the pub. And it's a community where we consume a lot of alcohol, we consume a lot of fried foods, a lot of unhealthy stuff. There's no knowledge and education, and nobody there participates in any sport, and about 1% of the community go to the gym. So I'm really committed to shifting and transforming that town. It's why I make the occasional trip out there. It's why you will find on our closed community and in our webinars, there are people dialing in from Zambia. That's why I'm doing what we're doing. But that's what will drive me. Each of you need to find out why you want to do this. What is that thing which is like, I'm really doing it for those people, for my family, for my unborn kids, for my whatever it may be, right? And if you don't have a reason, this is a reason we give you, in addition to your own greater why, is the pound for pound challenge. So today we just received a thank you certificate from Able Child Africa, and we went there on last week and we gave them a check for £444. This was just from the people that participated in the January challenge. Out of 34 people, they lost £444 in weight, and we gave that as a check. And Able Child Africa works with children that have disabilities or less able than us, people who are blind, people who are on wheelchair, people that have a limb missing or something of the sort. In Africa, they've got a number of schools and partnership organizations where they train and coach and provide the tools and education needed to work and support these kids. They make a phenomenal difference, and I'm also committed that they get to Zambia. So if you haven't seen, on Wednesday or yesterday, we shared a video of them, and it also features some Paralympians who are there who will be doing Tough Mudder with in 44 days. So those in London, if you want to join us doing Tough Mudder with 2 people on wheelchair, we're doing it in 44 days. You can sign up and you can join our team. We'll be fundraising for Able Child Africa. And literally, this lady is flying to Rio next week to participate in the Paralympics, and she'll be back in time for Tough Mudder, and we're supposedly taking her across the route in Tough Mudder, but I tell them that you guys are the ones carrying us, because it's very rare to get a chance to race with these Paralympians. So if any of you are interested, 24th September, it's happening near Crawley in South London, and you can sign up and we can add you to the Able Child Africa team. We'll do a bit of fundraising for it. Those of you in this challenge, you will be a lot more fit in those 5 weeks, 6 weeks away, and it will be a brilliant thing to participate in. Let us know if you're keen on that. Okay, so very quickly, I'm not going to go through everything, but there's what I call the old way, or what people think or thought fitness was. Eat less, exercise more. We actually encourage eating more, but you exercise smarter. But we'll encourage what type of eat, the quality of the food. On Sunday, you will get an email with certain food types you should avoid. And while we work on your meal plans will come by week 2. So be patient. So these meal plan ideas will come by week 2. They're rather simplistic. So you will already start to identify what you can eat when we tell you what you cannot. And the old way fights your default weight. What we're trying to do is using your body type and using the science of fat percentages, we will get you to what your target weight is for your height, your gender, and fat percentage. The old way slows down your metabolism. People would often skip meals, thinking if I skip a meal, I only eat twice a day, I'll lose weight. If you're skipping a meal, you're actually telling your body to start conserving energy, and energy is calories. So when you eat, it actually stores most of it. So people don't get that science. So we coach a bit about that science around the timing and frequency of meals and quantity of meals and content of meals. So I won't go through everything else, but this is some of the differences. We'll talk about this a lot more in upcoming challenges. And through the program, you're empowered. At the end of the challenge, you're transformed. And when you transform, people around you are inspired and the world transforms. So that's why we do this 90-day program. You can, those of you that are dialing in that want to sign up today, we don't announce this when we announce the webinar, but we are committed to people joining. So if you've taken the action on joining this webinar, well done on you. If you're listening into recording, well done on you, because we have a promo opportunity for you to join in at this promo price of $209. And it was actually something that we give at events. We don't give it on the webinars, but we're giving it now because we want to really encourage people to get in shape by end of the year, get ready to be sexy for Christmas. And we have, this is the second last challenge for the year. So we are going to bring a lot of changes to how we operate and deliver our content. We're going to change a lot of what our focus will be on. So if you are if you have previously been thinking about, I'll get on that challenge one day doesn't come, and we're never ready. We're only ever able to be contributed to when we make that choice. So you just choose, and if you would like to get in on that promo price of $209, then you use that promo code. If you are watching this on recording, or if you're dialed in now, you can take a screenshot of that code, but there's a limited number and you need to sign up right away. Yeah, you can message our Facebook page as well if you have any questions or struggling to use that code. I'm going to end with this quote again, and it's a reminder and an invite to all of you and your leadership. As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. So that's what we're looking for. Thank you everybody for joining this webinar. Are there any final questions or comments? Actually, this is open now to Q&A. So any questions you guys have, we've still got 5 minutes. So please let me know. Any questions? Mark, any questions?
Yeah, I did have a question and it floated out of my head. I was busy downloading the apps actually. I suppose that's a good question. Like how as you know, I'm working with my personal trainer.
Yeah.
And he's got an agenda for me with regards to my workouts. That's the question. Sorry, it's popped into my head. These apps, while I've been downloading them, they talk about what do you want to achieve? Like, do you want to build muscle or do you want to lose weight? Now, for me, I've let myself go a little bit. I've probably got about 4 kilos of fat to lose.
Yeah.
But I very much do want to sort of get in good shape and get toned. So my goals are sort of like twofold. I want to burn the fat first,
yeah,
and then I want to build muscle second.
Yeah.
That's what my agenda is. What's your response to that?
So that's a perfect question, and that's a perfect goal. And a perfect myth that often comes there that people think is, they often ask or they often say, so should I first lose the fat and then build the muscle? But what actually is happening is they're both happening at the same time, and they have to happen twofold. So your program, your training program with your personal trainer, and what we will recommend is that you have to have a daily amount of minimum cardio. You will get that in your email on Sunday. And in addition to that, you still do your strength training with your personal trainer. So right now on your app, what I would do is I would set it as you want to lose weight, because when you do that, it will contribute to the fat burn. But when you're consuming the right amount of macros, and we will talk about this in next week's webinar, when you're eating the right quality of food, it will also contribute to you building muscle when you get the timing right with your workouts and the content of your meals. So right now on the app, you want to set it as weight loss, because that's one of the things that you do want to do. You want to lose fat, and your muscle will still be building throughout the process, and the build will happen by regularity and resistance in your training, and secondly, the nutrition that follows the training.
Thank you. Good answer.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. Payal, are there any questions? I know you're dialing in from Zambia. You're still on mute, so you'll have to either unmute yourself or you can type a question if there's any questions. Okay, I'm going to carry on then, and assuming, not sure if you're getting this or not, or how the connection is, but you can always message us, message the page later, and if you have any questions, and we're going to wrap up there. And again, just a reminder, that is the promo code for anybody that would like it, and this is our final invite to you guys to step into your leadership. Be those that empower others. Thank you everybody for being on, and have a powerful, phenomenal, fit weekend, and let's get started on Monday. And if you want to invite anybody else to the challenge, you can invite them by Sunday. People can still join till day 5, but after that we move too fast, and so it's not advisable that they join after that. But till day 5, people can still come on while everybody's getting set up and warmed up through this program. So those of you that have posted your before photos to the page, after you posted your before photo, we will add you to the closed campus. It's called Fitbanker Campus. It's a closed group. And on there's going to be a host of other content that we'll be sharing with you and communicating with you. All right. Once again, thanks everybody for being on, and see you all later. Bye.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.